Hey class, AJ here. Today we're going to finish up with the scarcity definition of economics, looking at the last key term in that definition. Remember, again, economics is the study of how to best allocate scarce resources among competing uses. Today we're going to look at this notion of scarcity. First of all, let's talk about resources. There's three types of resources in economics. There's land, labor, and capital. Land refers to natural resources, anything above or below the ground. Labor refers to human resources. Both the quantity and quality of our labor force are important. And then lastly, capital, we're talking about the means of production. For example, my iPad right now is a unit of capital. We're talking about machinery and equipment and conveyor belts and computers. These are all capital. And capital in economics does not include dollars. That would be classified as financial capital, and we're not including that here as a resource. So the fundamental issue facing society is that our resources are scarce. They're in limited supply. The demands for the goods and services that they produce are unlimited. Okay, there are an infinite demands for various types of goods and services. So basically, this disconnect means that we can't have, well, everything. If we can't have everything, then choices must be made. We call these allocation decisions. These allocations decisions or choices are based on rational self-interest. That's rational self-interest says that humans have objectives and respond to incentives in predictable ways. And we'll talk about incentives in an upcoming lecture. These choices are then made via benefit cost analysis conducted at the margin. This is called BCA, benefit cost analysis. Importantly, we are going to be doing incremental benefit cost analysis, and I'll talk about that in a second. The decisions to use resources for one use precludes their use for something else. So choices entail or involve trade-offs. Milton Friedman had a very good term. He's a conservative economist for this. He said, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Meaning if you decide to do one thing, you're giving up something else. And in economics, what you're giving up are called opportunity costs. Opportunity costs represent your next best alternative or what you are giving up. I like to think of it this way. If you have a list of items that you want to do, your opportunity costs are number 2 in that list because you've used benefit cost analysis to do or select number 1. So let's think about this. Let's talk more about benefit cost analysis. And I'm going to show you a model for this. And I'm going to be very general right now because we're going to develop this model in additional details in an upcoming chapter. So we know this. We know that total benefits are a positive. When you bite into another slice of pizza, you're getting benefits from that. We would call that utility in economics. We know that marginal benefit is the change in total benefit from one more unit, one more slice of pizza. Okay, the first slice of pizza tastes great. The second slice of pizza tastes good, but not as good as the first. Therefore, we're going to identify a marginal benefit having a negative slope. Then we're going to come down and we're going to talk about, well, what are total costs? Total costs, again, going back to this notion of opportunity costs, are going to be measured by opportunity costs. And we know that your total costs are going to be a negative. When you go to the store, the money out of your wallet or your purse is an expenditure that's less money for you to have on something else. That's a cost. We're going to look at marginal cost, which is going to be equal to the change in total costs over one more unit. Okay, and I'll talk more about that and I'll do it within the example. The example that we're going to look at is what is the optimal amount of studying? Here's our model. There's no cause and effect going on in this model. And then what we're going to do here is the time that you spend studying and the time that you would have spent doing something else, your next best alternative or your opportunity cost. I'm not going to label the vertical axis yet. Later we can put dollar signs on there, but for now let's just leave it blank. If we go back up here, marginal cost is going to have a functional relationship, a positive relationship, and marginal benefit is going to have a negative slope. So let's draw our marginal benefit in first and label it with a negative. Let's draw our marginal cost in second and let's label it with a positive. Now you can see, imagine this. This is the first hour right here. If you run this line up, you can see that the marginal benefits of studying that first hour are greater than the marginal costs of the sleep that you give up to study that first hour. So notice here, let's go back to the negative slope of the marginal benefit function. Each hour of studying, and this is called diminishing returns, we'll talk about that in a later chapter, gives you less and less benefits. Each additional hour of studying involves greater and greater opportunity costs. The first hour of sleep that you give up, you went from 9 hours of sleep to 8 hours of sleep. You gave up an hour of sleep. Okay? That is less valuable than the second hour of sleep, and then the third, fourth, and fifth hour of sleep. So notice what happens here. You can clearly see, and I want you to start thinking this way, is we're trying to find what is the optimal amount of studying. Well, I can say this: if marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost, do more. And you can clearly see that the marginal benefit of the first hour of studying is greater than the marginal cost. Study some more. We can get the marginal benefit of the second hour and the marginal cost of the second hour. The logic is still the same. There is a delta or difference between the benefits that you receive and the cost that you incur for studying that second hour. The benefits are greater than the cost. Do more. We can get up to this point here, and I'm going to label this Q star. Star means now we've found the optimal amount of studying is at 3 hours. Okay? That is the point where marginal benefits are equal to marginal costs. It's a rule in economics. To find the optimal amount of doing anything or producing anything, you follow all the way up to where the marginal benefit is equal to marginal costs, or the marginal revenue is equal to marginal costs, and that will give you the optimal amount of production. Now I can show you, let's change colors here, and let's go beyond. Let's go, imagine that you stayed up and you studied for 5 hours. Here, the marginal benefit of the fifth hour is less than the marginal cost of the fifth hour. Which means what? Which means that you would have been better off to stop studying and go to sleep. So here, you want to go back this way, and we can summarize that by saying if marginal benefit is less than marginal cost, do less. And as we saw over here, if marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost, do more. The optimal amount of studying in this case, and let's do this, is right here with 3 hours, where marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost. That's it. Talk to you later. Bye.